Hello and welcome to India Career Center, the one stop podcast for students, professionals, parents, and guardians. In every episode, we will try to deal with a current topic that needs expert advice related to career guidance, and career mentoring. Please welcome your host, Dr. S.B. Mishra, to the show. And happy listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode on India Career Center. Today, we are going to talk about a very important subject related to professionals. Many of the professionals go through cycles of transition from one role to another role. Sometimes they change to another industry, sometimes they take a sabbatical and do something on their own. So, most of the professionals do uh, reach to this certain stage in their professional career when they have to transition from one job role to another job role and so on and so forth. So, how to plan for that transitioning in career effectively? On that subject, today we will talk. And to discuss about this, we have got a very distinguished guest, Mr. Amit Chawla, who is a professional career mentor. He's an author, and he has immense amount of experience, professional experience, through which he is guiding a lot of young and professionals. So, with those words, I welcome Amit. Amit, thank you so much to be with us today, and thank you for giving your time and welcome to our show.
No, thank you so much, Dr. Mishra. It's a pleasure to be here, and the topic that you picked up is very, very dear to me. From professional, more than professional, from personal side, because I've experienced career transition myself, obviously, and I'm sure you have done it so. And I see many people also who have done it or who are struggling to do it. Actually, there are more people struggling to do career transition and they don't take first step also. So because of all these reasons, I'm very, very passionate about talk about this and see what comes out and how I can add value to many people's life.
Okay, so before we get into the conversation about the subject, tell us about yourself. You're joining us from where today, and give a brief about your journey so far,
Sure.
so that a lot of our audience can connect with your story.
All right. So I'm Amit Chawla. I'm a business clarity coach, sounding board and guide, with about 27 years of corporate experience in the software industry, mostly the leadership role. And then I made this career transition into becoming a coach 8 years back. And now I coach entrepreneurs, business owners, corporate leaders to help them get clarity of where they really want to go and become, and then the path to reach there. But for today, I just want to mention about a bit about my story of career transition that will set the context, uh, because it took me a long time of struggle to figure out what I want to become. And I became a coach in 2017. But my journey of figuring this out was 7 years journey. Okay, so 2010 I was a country head of a fintech multinational company, on top post position. That's the best position you can reach to. Everything outside was a successful thing. I had a corner office in Gurgaon, and but internally I had this struggle कि कुछ और करना है. There's something more, something bigger that I can achieve. There's something missing, and I did not know what that is. And I did all this, what I call as trial and error. There was no mentor, no guide, no process, no framework. I didn't even know that I was looking for a career transition. Forget that I was doing career transition. I didn't even know. So it was a 7 years journey. In the beginning, I thought maybe I have not done MBA. I'd done my engineering, I'd done my master's from US. But maybe people have always say engineering kar liye, so you should do MBA also. Maybe I have not done MBA. That is missing. So I did a 1 year course from IFT here in Delhi. Finished that and then sat down. Okay, now what? Nothing. Still no clarity, right? I'm a clarity coach now, but that time I did not have clarity. Then I thought, okay, let me figure out something else. So I started going to all these motivational talks, NASCOM, TIE events, TEDx, read books, many things I did for about 2 years. And out of reading all these books and other seminars, attending, I realized one thing, that I can achieve whatever I want. Like, this is the fundamental line everybody says, right? You can achieve whatever you want. I said, this is very good. This is a learning for me for the last 2 years. But then the question was, okay, what do I want, right? So I can achieve whatever I want, but what do I want is not clear. So again, back to square one. So I had to figure that out. So then I thought maybe I'll figure this out, and I started going to. I thought I'll become an angel investor. So maybe I'll invest money into the startup and some exciting things people are doing, and that will be a big thing for me. I tried for about 9 months, Dr. Mishra. I know, meeting angel investors, going into these calls. It was interesting, exciting, but then no, that's not me. I don't want to give my money to someone. That's not what I want to share. It is the wisdom and experience I want to share, right? Then I thought I'll become a entrepreneur, have some idea and do something. I was in late 40s, and I thought of some idea, then just it didn't work out. I tried for about 6, 7 months. It didn't even kick off because I felt, okay, I'm not the best person to do it. Then I thought I'll become start an NGO, okay, because I want to contribute. So I started going to NGOs. I became an advisory board in a couple of them and trying to see what happens there. And after exploring all that, I said, no, 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 I don't want to start an NGO. This is not me. It's good, but not me. Then I thought I'll become a professor, teach somewhere. Oh, I met some friend of mine who had become professor. Then after that, about 6 months, no, that's not me. So I had a lot of failures, okay, until I got a bit of success when somebody said to me, Amit, connect with young people because they will give you, they have this energy and passion. So I started mentoring some startup founders who were 20 something in a co-working space in CP called Innovate, 2015 or so. And when went there, I met such exciting people, right? They had this not this kind of ideas, passion, energy, will change the world. And I was wondering, I was touching 50 and thinking, how can they change the world, man? I've not been able to change. And but I found there is a kind of synergy because I could come with knowledge, experience, and wisdom, and they have this energy, passion, and ideas. So maybe something comes up. So I started enjoying that, but still not able to figure out how I can do that because I was doing this on a weekends, free of cost, just playing out. Then something happened. I got a coach. I got an executive coach for me. That was on leadership skills. And she worked with me for 6 months on improving my leadership skills, my assertiveness, communication, conflict management, many things as such. But that also opened up my eyes about myself. The realization started happening about myself a lot. And then when that lady went, the coach finished her coaching program, and I said, "Ye kya hua? Who was that lady who came and changed me and then went, right?" So I said, "What is this coaching about?" And that's where I went to learn about coaching. And when I went to learn about coaching, 2017 Jan, everything connected, right? So it's like aha moment or eureka moment that I had. I'd like after the first session itself, I said, "Oh my God, this is what I want to become." Because coaching is a way to help others grow by asking them questions and not giving them solutions and answers from your side. And the characteristic of a coach was kind of matching with mine. So after 7, 8 years of this struggle, this became clear to me that I should be a coach. And then after a few months, I left my corporate job and became a coach. And started operating from a co-working space, started mentoring and coaching young entrepreneurs and corporate leaders. And now I started my own office called Clarity Hive. It's in Gurgaon right now where I'm sitting. And I coach people online, offline from here now, right? So there's a long story of mine, but this is the career transition story of mine. And I know this, what I learned in the last 7, 8 years about career transition now, and I have framework for that. If I knew all that when I started my career transition journey, I could have done all this in 1 year. It took me 7 years. It could have been easily done in 1 year. So that's what I sometimes have this regret. Why I did not know this process, this framework, this concept of career transition back then, right? But anyways, that's long gone now. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm sure, I think a lot of our listeners actually will connect with your story. So, a couple of points here. One is that you talked about a process or a template which you have designed through your learning. Uh, while a template or design is actually quite useful in terms of learning about the process, but do you think a particular individual will fit into that time frame always, or you feel that the time frames could be different
Mhm.
for individuals? Every individual will have a different stages of their transition, and hence,
Yeah.
while the process of the template could be same, but the transition time could be different. What do you think about?
Exactly, exactly. So the way I kind of work is give them that framework and get them started. In 4 months' time, when I coach people on this, like 4 months' time, they get a clarity on few things so that they have the core process and framework with them and the tools with them, and then they go out and try out. It's not that in 4 months you'll do the transition. In 4 months, you'll know the core foundation of how to go through the transition. The core parts will be done, which will set the tone for trying multiple things, right? And it became very obvious to me that you will not just suddenly jump and you'll have clarity. Okay, this is the one that I want. You will have to do this, try things out. No, I call this as sometimes learning launches. No, you're doing this to learn, know how that it looks like. It's like sometimes I call that as an ouch scenario. थोड़ा सा टच करके देखते हैं कैसा लगता है, right? I'm
Hmm.
liking it, I'm enjoying it, I'm making money, I'm making impact. There are few things that you need to test it out for a few months or maybe a couple of years as well, and then make the shift, right? So like I told you, I use this ouch scenario, ouch strategy for 7 years. Touch
Hmm.
करके देखते हैं. My touch was for long period, seven,
Hmm.
8 months, and then realized no, it's not good, right? Then another 1 or 2 years. So this can be, if we cover that in a proper manner, more structured manner, then it can be done faster. But yeah, the transition itself may take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to overcome that, and it's a ever-going journey, right? Even when I become a coach, there's a transition happening in my life as well. Earlier, I was a clarity. I was focusing only on clarity coaching. Then I added on with clarity coaching, leadership coaching. Now I'm also working on impact creators, working with impact creators. So there is a journey which continues. It never stops. Um, but the core foundation can be definitely done in 4 months' time.
Okay, so now going back to the basics, let's understand about the basics of a transition. So the
Mhm.
first one which we should discuss about is what is a career transition? I mean, and why do you
Okay.
think professionals seek one?
Yeah, so I'll tell two definitions. One definition is a more technical definition, and then one is my experiential definition. So the first one, the technical is very simple. It's career transition is a process of finding and moving to a new career or a new role, right? It's a process of finding and moving into a new career or new role. That's fundamentally that it is. But when I look at it personally from my own experience, I call this as it's a move to claim your unlived life.
Mm,
It's a move to claim your unlived life. And why I say that is because, Dr. Mishra, we all have these aspirations, dreams, ideas to make some big impact or do something big or become something different or, have that, big achievement in your life.
mm,
But we don't do that. And we just talk and talk and just, no, I call that as an unlived life. There's a life that you want to live, but you're not living that. You are just dreaming about it. So I call this career transition is that claim that your unlived life. Because let's say if you are 90 years of age and about to die, and that time you think and regret, oh my God, I could have done something.
mm,
I could have tried this. I could have tried this profession. I could have tried this role. I could have not tested this out. It's too late, right? So I believe very, very strongly that, for me, career transition is it's a move to claim your unlived life.
Mm.
Right?
And just thinking loud, so with the explosion of technology, and especially on the AI and automation side, um, the nature of jobs are continuously changing nowadays. So
Mm,
probably we are going to see a large number of career transitioning happening,
mm.
which will probably become not just trying to claim your unlived life, but also probably a compulsion of
Yeah.
the reality of today. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely it is, and that's why having a knowledge and expertise on career transition, if it's in your tool set, then anytime that something happens, or no, you can actually make that shift, right? And you have to plan that out. So I always say, no, always have your plan B, right?
Mm,
So that is important. But yeah, you're right. Because of so much of changes happening in the world, career transition is important for people to know. But also, people we need to know this. Like you asked this question, what is career transition? Let me show you one slide to just explain what, because people kind of at times do not understand the difference.
okay,
Uh, I hope you can see this slide, right?
sure.
So career growth, there is one thing is career growth, and second is career transition. Right.
Mm,
So career growth is you're growing up, from a developer to senior development manager, or VP, VP, president, and all that. So it's a growth happening. But when you do a career transition, you are actually in one kind of a profession or one type of role, and then you're shifting. This is the transition piece, right? Where
mm,
you're shifting and moving into a different direction altogether, and then you go up, right? So there will be obviously a dip.
mm,
There'll be obviously a dip which will happen when you do a transition, because it's a new role. It could be a new profession. It could be a new career altogether. When I moved from working in corporate life to becoming a coach, I had to start from scratch. I did not
mm,
know coaching. I did not know networking. I never done podcasting, right? I had not done marketing, personal branding, selling. All these part was new. So I had to start from scratch. I cannot assume that, it's like from here I'll pick it up. This is not how career transition will happen. You'll not start from here. You
mm.
will go down. And people are scared of this, that why should I go down? Why should my income go down for a few months or few years, possibly, and then it has to start? Why can't I start from where I left off?
Yeah,
Right?
it's probably it is something to do with dealing with uncertainties in life.
Yeah, exactly. It is so yeah, and that is why people are scared, because they're scared of uncertainty, right?
Mm,
Uh, they want a comfortable, a predictable life, but that's not in our hands every time. And that's why I wanted to make sure people understand and appreciate that career transition is not like this, and then you go like this. It will go like this, you'll come down and then go up. And
understood.
probably go up. There is no guarantee. You may go
Yes,
down and remain down, right? So obviously there's a risk. And that's true also in everybody's profession currently also. Like
I
we
agree
think
with
we'll
you.
keep going, it may not be. You may come down anyways, right? So like uncertainties are there across. When people go and think about career transition,
Right.
right? Okay, because if everything was going fine, then why go for a career transition, right? So let me give you five scenarios where working professionals, or they think about they can be thinking of career transition. Number one, you're doing something, maybe a job, maybe a startup, or working somewhere. You're not happy. आप
Mm,
खुश नहीं हो. You're not
mm,
joyful. You're not enjoying it. काम कर रहे हो but not enjoying it. There's something missing, right? That's a kind of a hint. There is something you need to change, right? So that's number one. Number two could be untapped potential. You have a skill. You have
mm,
a potential of making some big impact, and that opportunity is not there in the current scenario. And you
Hmm.
feel, "यार, मेरे में तो ये skill है, पर वो तो you कोई पूछ ही नहीं रहा." Right? I'll give you some examples, real
Yeah.
examples that I faced. And number three is you're in a profession, but you don't like that profession at all now.
Hmm.
Maybe the profession you chose that time because of a friend, because of your parents or family members, or somebody told you and you got in, you not liking it. You went into a government job but don't like it. You become an engineer and doing the work and that you're not enjoying. You became a doctor. Now you're not liking that, work-life balance being disturbed. Or you are in defense. Now,
Hmm.
people take your retirement as well, right? After some years, it's not necessarily on first year. I'm saying after working for 5, 10, 20, 15 years, you feel now this is not the profession for me,
Hmm.
right? And that is triggers a thought. Fourth is a bit different, which is I followed was you have a dream, you have an aspiration, you are
Hmm.
happy where you are, everything is going fine, but you have a bigger dream, which is not going to become fruitful or impact or would not be actionable in the current scenario,
That's right.
right? So you have a different aspiration and dream than what you are doing, and you are doing well. There's no
Hmm.
problem in that. That's a fourth scenario. And fifth, which happens to many, obviously all professionals, is retirement. Like
Hmm.
now you're about to retire. So, or you're retired. Now you have, hopefully you have the knowledge, you have experience, you have the money, and you have the time, but no opportunities. Right? So, and maybe no desire to work possibly. So that is again a time for somebody to think about transition into something else. Like I'm
Yeah, I think
58 years of age, and many of my friends are retiring and all that part, and I'm asking them, okay, what after retirement? And most of them have not even thought. They're nothing, we'll relax. But imagine,
hmm.
live till 90 years, for 32 years, what will you do?
Hmm.
Right? You have 30 years more to live. What will you do for 30 years? That's amount of time that you did while working, right?
I know the
So,
concept of retirement is actually a, I don't know, maybe 100 or 150-year-old concept.
hmm,
During that time, the expectancy, life expectancy was very low, probably in the 40s, 50s, and it was
yeah,
okay to dole out retirement benefits to employees. I mean, probably the policy never thought that it is going to provide support to people, pensions and things like that for 20, 30 years, and lot of retirees actually get very well paid. I mean, who are probably from
yeah.
defense and other central government jobs. But this is true only for those kind of roles. But those who worked in private sectors, for them
Hmm.
definitely transition is something they should plan in advance. I completely agree with you. Um,
Yeah, no, for example, you'll see in retirement, those who are retiring. I've seen those who are retired, maybe they've taken premature retirement or on retirement from defense. They have taken corporate roles. So they can be very good in many fields on administrative part, on operations side. And no, they've taken very important big roles. So one of the company I worked with, the MD of the company was a general, retired general, right?
mm,
And he ran it very well. I really, respect him for that. So
mm,
there are people who have retired and doing well. There is the person I coached. He was about to retire from a corporate, from a company, multinational company, and I think 2 years before his retirement, he said, "I want to figure out what I should do." So we did this kind of a program with him and got a bit more clarity what he should do. And he tried multiple things, and now he's in the education field,
mm,
in handling operations, which is totally different from what he was doing earlier. But it took
mm.
him 1 or 2 years to figure that out, and so just started that. So there are ways it can be done, and people should think about it and try to take some small steps to consider it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So now
So
that you spoke about reasons for transition, Can you also explain about what could be the motivational factors behind the career transition? I know probably some
Yeah.
of them are kind of linked to each other, but can you explain it more about the different motivational factors?
Yeah, so what I wanted to explain to you actually is more than before the motivation, you should know what I call as the to put it, the types of career transition, because different
Okay,
types of career transition needs different motivation level, right?
definitely.
So let me try to share a screen with you again. 1 second. So this is my own creation. So there's no background or a book or all this. This is I try to put together what are the different types of career transition. So there are six type of people that we have. Number one is corporate professionals, working professionals. They could be at a junior level, senior level, CEOs working somewhere. Number two is entrepreneurs when I say entrepreneurs, are the ones who are running a startup kind of thing. That's to bring an impact. Number three is social entrepreneurs. They are also like entrepreneurs, but that is a social impact. They're trying to bring a social impact. It could be also an NGO, could be part of social entrepreneur. And fourth are more creative entrepreneurs. This I call mostly like freelancers and
Mm,
like consultants, coaches like you and me would be
mm,
as a creative entrepreneur, solopreneurs, and they're doing with a small team possibly and working together on this, right? And fifth is government job, right? It is you're doing a work, maybe as a teacher, maybe in a government, some service you're providing, could be in a police, could be in defense also. It could be also in politics. I call that also probably a government job in a way, right? And six is a pause. People take pause. They take a break, right? Because of many life stage transition that is happening. Some event may have happened. It could be a medical event or something else, like a woman after marriage may take a pause, or having after baby taking a pause. Some take sabbaticals. So all that part are is also another way to look at it. And all these things, if you see, you can move from anywhere to anywhere. So you could, if
mm,
I say number 35, it is like a social entrepreneur joining a government job, right?
mm,
It could be a 51, a person who's working in a government, doing government service and joins us a company and to work, right? So all these possible combinations are possible there. So you can look at these permutation combination. But the point I want to bring out is, if you were looking for motivation, then it
mm,
will motivate based on what you want to become. You have to choose which part you want to move to, right?
mm,
And just let me just show you, and this is my own assessment, why somebody would like to become a corporate professional, why somebody would like to become an entrepreneur or take a pause or a government job, right? So the way I look at it is like this. Actually, this is part of another presentation I have. So it's just talking about, if you want to become a corporate professional, then your core motivation has to be financial security.
mm.
You'll get financial security. You get, hopefully good money, not job security, but
Good
financial
one.
security, right?
Yeah,
It's a financial security you can get. So if somebody is not making money and that's the prime motivation to make more money, possibly corporate professional could be a good thing to look at. Entrepreneur, if you want to do a startup and all that, you have to do it if you want to make an impact. If the motivation, you want to bring some impact in the world, in your ecosystem, in the customer mindset, whatever it is, but no, there's an impact. By the way, money is in all places. Money is
yeah,
required in all. If there's no money, then no, that's not the part. So money is given. Here I'm saying the core motivation, right?
yeah.
Because if you're making impact, you'll also make money, right? But if you're making money, it need not be you're making impact. So the part
Mm,
I'm bringing out here is impact. Social entrepreneur would be looking at social impact. No, maybe
mm,
environment, maybe social, maybe the social impact, environment impact, maybe in the ecosystem, some impactful thing which is happening. That's the key thing here. NGOs will fall into this space, right? But they want to bring an impact. Then creative entrepreneurs are the one who want to express. They have a creative sense and they want to express. They want to build their own entity. I'm a
mm,
business clarity coach. I'm building my own entity and have to express, what I can, deliver to and help people, right?
mm, mm,
And the government job is the motivation has to be job security. I want my job, even if it's less. मेरे को
Mhm.
job चाहिए, right? That is it, right? Because and it's fine. All these are fine, right? Because after retirement also I'll get some pension. I want job security. That's my core motivation. And pause is when motivation here has to be you want to slow down. बहुत भाग लिया. थोड़ा
Mm.
सा slow down. Right? I've seen people, very young people, also taking sabbaticals for 6 months, 12 months. I coach somebody who took a sabbatical for about 12 months. And then after 3, 4 months and is coaching, she realized she wants to get to the job. She changed her job and now she's doing well. Right. So you have to look from what motivates you, what is your current motivation, and based on that, you can choose which path to take. Right.
Mm.
So that's what I thought I'll share.
Yeah, this is
Um,
fantastic. I think, yeah, so we're just heating up the mood of this discussion. So we take a short break and join you back in the other side of the break. So welcome back after the break. We were talking about the motivation factors. So Amit, I agree with your points of the motivation factors. In fact, looking at those points which you try to show on the screen, it seems those are the motivations even at the time of deciding a particular profile as well, isn't it? I mean, yeah, I mean that sounds very logical and true. So whether it is a transition or whether you're trying to take it up as a first career, I think will become your core motivation factors.
yeah. Yeah, and also what happens, Dr. Mishra, is in your life period, you also, your motivations may change. It's not fixed, right? So
Mm,
over 10 years period, something else may become important. Initially, it may be impact, and then you say, okay, impact, no, leave it. I want financial security. You get into that. So there could be many factors which comes up, and it's okay, right? The main part is you need to have absolute clarity of what is your motivation at that point of time. You can't have no, I want everything. I want to make an impact also, financial security also, job security also. You keep on thinking you'll get nothing, right?
mm.
So it's very important to understand and appreciate that.
Okay, so moving on, you mentioned that uh, learning about career transitioning is like a skill which one should start learning, which I completely agree. I think, especially in today's times, I think it is more relevant to learn this skill throughout your career and have this ready. Uh, and as you mentioned rightly, that through your journey of life and your professional careers, you may actually arrive at situations where your ambitions are different, your aspirations are different. Um, but at the same time, I think our core abilities, core strengths, core skills kind of remain same.
Mhm.
So when somebody is planning for a transition, how they should be planning with respect to transferring these core skills which they have to the new roles.
Hmm. Okay, so one of thing is, and I realize this quite late in my life, is because I come from a technical background and software background, we always do planning, right? Have the plan in place and or then you start. In career transition, planning is there, but a little bit. Okay, you can't plan too much over there. And obviously, the main part, important part is to first of all to figure out what do you want to really become. The main question is what do you want to really become. For that, do not look at your current skill.
Mm,
Okay, so always when you have a bigger dream and aspiration and other things, then you have to look at that big picture, that North Star. You know, you look at North Star as North Star, without thinking where I am right now. So who am I currently is not important to figure out what I want to become. Let me repeat. It's
mm,
not important to know who am I or where am I right now to figure out what I want to become.
mm,
Because when you do that, you'll be always limiting it. Because I have these 5 skills. Now I have to start, oh, with these five skills over next 30 years, what I can achieve. Oh my God, that's so limiting, right? All skills can be learned. We know
Hmm.
that. It may take 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year, 2 years. It can be learned.
Agreed.
So don't build a career transition based on what skills I have.
Hmm.
Um, so that's where this planning, I was mentioning that a bit of planning is important, but more important is having clarity of what do I really want to become and why I want to become what I want to become.
Hmm.
Like I told my story itself, right? That, I want to be a coach, but why? No, it took me 7 years to figure that out, right? So that clarity has to be there. Only once you have clarity of what you want to become, then the planning, other things will fall in place. Planning is never a problem. In fact, I'll tell you examples where people have made a plan to do a career transition and they have never executed. I know a person who worked in corporate and he told me this is pre-COVID story. So he came to me and said, Amit, he's working a big, multinational company, good money, had a house, everything fine. But he said, I want to start another startup on mental health for corporate professionals.
Hmm.
Like, that's a good idea because he had gone through some mental challenges and he said, I want to help them out. And I asked him, how long you been thinking of this idea? He said, 2 years. Like, okay, good. So you could spend time on that. And when do you want to start? He said, maybe 2, 3 years more. I said, why? He said, I need to get some more skills. I need to make a business plan. I want to vet it. I want to do the marketing part. I want to do personal branding. I want to learn selling. And then I will start. I said, you will never start. He's not started even now,
I know.
right?
I can imagine.
Right. And it's so funny. In fact, when I started coaching, the first thing I thought, I'll coach entrepreneurs as how to make a plan, how to make a business plan.
Hmm.
It's been 8 years. Not a single person has come asking me, help me make a business plan.
I know.
Only one person I had, that was in the beginning. He never executed.
Okay.
Right. So planning is okay, but planning is, in project management, we say it's 10%, 90% is execution. Action
Yeah.
is more important,
And
right?
execution now, at the moment, what
Mhm.
you can do.
Yeah, exactly. So small steps, not big steps. You think this transformation is probably going to be a big one and big step has to be taken and a small steps.
Hmm.
Then the transformation happens. Then the transition happens, right? But to answer that question, is the skills transferable? That's not important. It is, obviously. Um, Main part is you have to first get clarity of what you want to become.
I agree. I think skills are learnable. Probably what is not going to change much is your personality, because personalities
Correct.
actually don't change much. While you can
Mm,
learn a skill, I agree with you that if you put time and effort, you can pick up any skill. But personality is
mm.
something which doesn't change. And you mentioned about North Star. I think finding your own North Star is important. And that is something which you have to do it yourself. No coach can help you. I mean, no coach probably can guide you and show you a path, but finding that is your job, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So when I'm doing this coaching for 4 months, the first part itself is for first month or 1.5 month is this only getting clarity of your North Star, your purpose, your life purpose itself. Because unless you are clear on that, other things won't matter. So obviously they have to figure it out themselves. As a coach, it's more to give them the framework and a guidance and be there so that they are able to explore and able to find their life purpose. And that's why I was telling this is very, very personal to me, this career transition, because we get deeper into the life purpose itself. And I do it with very limited set of people. I've done for 20, 25 people like that. Not many, because not everybody gets it or are willing to invest their time, effort, money into it. They think it's important but not urgent and they leave it.
Right. So, do
So,
you, I mean, though I had not thought about it, couple of things. One is when somebody is wanting to take up coaching for transitioning or coaching in general. for some area of expertise. Uh, People are actually quite vulnerable. They have to open up. They have to open up completely to the coach. So that could
Mhm.
be one area of hindrance or obstacle, because if I want to take
Yeah,
you as my coach, I have to open up. I have to become vulnerable in front of you, and so that is something which probably as adults we find it difficult to transition
exactly.
and accept.
Yeah, it is not easy, and it's an innovation which happens. And I also realized this early on when I started getting to coaching, because I have my own coaches. Okay, I
Mm,
got coached by a person who's, I don't know, probably 20 years younger to me. Most of my coaches are younger than me, right?
mm,
But we have to go through that, and it's very important to understand in our life. It's okay to ask for help.
mm,
It's okay to ask for help. No, we cannot do everything on our own. We are not expert. I'm not expert in everything. So I need to go and find a person who can help me out. And maybe that person is not need not be the best person in the world. You can learn
mm,
from maybe even a person from a other caliber is even average or above average also can help you out. The part is as a person, am I ready to become a student?
mm.
As soon as one decide I am a student, a teacher will appear.
Fantastic. Yes.
As soon as I decided, like once when I was going through this whole process of transitioning, I realized I do not know networking.
Mm,
So networking सीखनी है कहाँ से सीखे maybe to read books and all that part. And then I suddenly see someone in front of me. He says, "I'm a networking coach." I said, "Okay, good." I mean, so these things would happen once you decide you are a student. A teacher will appear from somewhere.
mm. Yeah,
And
agree.
it's okay to ask for help. Career transition or any other bigger transition in life. No, it's okay to take help from somebody whom you can trust, whom you can be share confidential thing, be vulnerable, and as a coach or even a mentor, that's a duty. That's what they are supposed to do. And then only things move.
Okay, interesting. And when you coach somebody, it's a very intense and very personal journey for the coachee, of course. But as a coach, how much that does that impact you as in your personal life also? Or, does it happen?
I didn't get that means
So
impact personal life.
when you're coaching somebody for different things, could be related to profession, and in professional life also people go through different challenges,
Mhm.
obstacles, some personal challenges as
Oh
well.
yeah, yeah.
So when you're coaching somebody like that, it's a deeply intense and personal experience for the coachee and for also the coach.
Mm.
So how does that impact you at a personal level?
Yeah, so the part is we had to be trained. This was the biggest issue or biggest challenge as a coach. We have to figure it out is we have to empathize, not sympathize.
Mm,
So it's like on attach detach. We use that attach detach mechanism that when we are having a session and all that part, it's in depth talking about the person and all that part. And once we're out, then take it out, take it away, because otherwise your brain will be going into depression yourself. It's quite possible, right? And that's the
mm,
biggest issue because at times when in the beginning when I was learning coaching, I would see we would hear somebody's problem and you get into that and that person is crying. I'm also crying and then trying to solve that problem. And that's not coaching, right? There's a
mm,
way to attach and detach. And people have their own. Each person, each coach is going through their own ups and down. If as a coach, we also go through this ups and down with them. It could be a problem. We have to be a little more static from that point of view. Like I
mm,
coached one person, she's in Cayman Islands, British, working corporate for many years, 30 years or 25, 30 years, and then said, I want to take a sabbatical and do something else. Now said, okay, help me out to do career transition. So in her journey, then we figured out that what she loves is adventure. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
she loves adventure, she loves fun, and she loves scuba diving, right? And she wants to impact people's life. So we kind of worked on that and said, okay, let's focus on this part. And now she's a scuba diver. She's started a scuba diving company in Cayman Island as a business. And from a corporate, typical, logical kind of a mindset person, getting into this totally different space, right? But it's not straight away. No? It's not like this. Oh, she had to also overcome many things. So she thought she'll work with someone. She tried, didn't work. She tried two, three things, did not work. And then she's still, figuring that out, but in the right path, right? So when I see this part, I have to make sure that I'm not getting bogged down by their ups and down. And if
Mm-hmm.
they're up, my role is to bring them down. When they're down, my role is to bring them up, right? When they're very happy, I'll say, okay, prepare for the worst. When they're going to bad time, then you have to, you be ready for the good times. So that's how the whole mechanism works.
Okay, so typically, Amit, do you have a template in terms of how many sessions you like to do with a professional, or you decide on the go as to how to go about it? How do you plan that?
Yeah, so typically, in when I do the sessions, it's 9 sessions in 4 months, and more can be done if required. Each session is 1.5 hours, sometimes 2 hours, sometimes 1 hour. In between, also calls are more than welcome. But the part I work focus on is our three things. Number one is actually four questions to be answered. Four questions. First question to be answered is, what do I want to become?
Mm-hmm.
Right? As a person, as a coachee, what do I really want to become and why? What is my life purpose? That's the number one goal we have to achieve. Number two is, how do I choose?
Okay, before we
Right?
go to that, when you say what do I want to achieve in life, um, so depending on whichever stage of life one is, let's say somebody is in his say mid 30s, okay,
Hmm.
and we are probably looking at another 60 years of life left. Uh, so when you say find out what you want to become in your life, so do you make them also sensitive about the fact that probably try to look at a time horizon of, let's say, in 10 years time what you want to become, or do you see that in that way, or you say that okay, see yourself what you want to become in next 20 30 years? What is the template?
So we don't look at the timeline perspective. We look at what you want to become, and that you can say once you have decided that, then you can have the goals. Okay, I want to become like this in 10 years time, for 30 years time, or no, 2 years time. Okay.
Okay,
But the process is like 1.5 months to 3 sessions. Having clarity of at least one part becomes clear that this is what I want to become. And by the way, when I'm saying this, they have to actually do something around it so that it gets
mm-hmm.
embedded. This is probably not a part. This looks to be like, for example, when I did this exercise for myself, I decided to, my life purpose is walk with young,
Mm-hmm.
walk with young in their pursuit of happiness and success. Okay, this is I defined myself in 2017. Um, and that time when I did that, walk means walk is like coaching, mentoring, guiding is walk because as a coach, we walk with the coachee. We not pulling or pushing. We हम साथ चल रहे हैं. आप भी चल रहे हो हम भी चल रहे हैं. साथ चल रहे हैं
Correct.
चलते चलते हम will. That's a kind of a model mindset we work.
Mm.
And young men was I thought I'll work with young who are less than 30 years of age. So
Okay.
my definition, when I wrote it down in my document, I said no less than 30 years of age. And then after a year, I realized I had coached somebody who was 65 years of age, who was a doctor, medical doctor, and he got value from the session. And I said, why am I limiting myself? That
Correct.
young means young by age, by number. But then I said young by heart. So I changed the definition in my document. I said, no, walk with young means young at heart, means who are ambitious, who want to make an impact, want to do something, right? In their pursuit of happiness and success, in whatever they think is gives the happiness and success, not my definition, their
Mm.
definition. So work with them. So the part I'm saying is in the beginning, you'll get a bit of clarity on the life purpose, but then you live with it over the 1 or 2 years and then relook at that. No, is it
Mm.
still true? Those people have coached, I always ask them, 2 साल पहले आपको ये clarity आई थी कि what is life purpose? Is it still true? Is it still true? Are you following it? Right? And
How
sometimes they're
you
not
do
following
you
it.
have a process to engage with them on a regular basis, whoever you
Yeah,
coach?
so the part is there is a part of coaching, and then even afterwards, like 4 months is one. Then after that, 9, 12 months is more of hand holding them. Okay,
Okay.
now they are running on their own. Now they need more somebody like a sounding board, like accountability partner. Once a month, we touch
Mm.
base and see कि आप कहाँ पहुँचे. Are you stuck somewhere? Are there some hurdles? So no, I work with them, and then we can extend for over the period also. But nevertheless, even when they're not getting coached by me, you know, we build a relationship. It is for lifetime, right?
Correct.
So it is not only for one time. Some of my coaches are like 4 years, been coaching them for 4 years, 5 years. Some are getting married now, some are having kids now. So it's like, it's become a different kind of relationship over the period.
Mm.
Um, but the question for for this career transition and this life purpose is that you have to look at it every year. Are you still living it, or has it changed? Right?
Mm.
Maybe there's some new motivation has come, right? So it tends to happen.
Yeah. So we were talking about the steps. So I interrupted
Yeah,
you
yeah.
in between.
So the first question is what do I want to become and why? The life purpose part. Second is how will I choose? Because it's quite possible as we go along, there will be multiple options will open up. Like when I coach people, I say don't do not look at only 1 or 2 professions. When you're starting up, you should have minimum to minimum 9 professions to
Mm.
evaluate, right? Minimum 9. I worked with somebody, who's a friend of mine. He said he was into software. Then he became a CEO. He started his own company, then left. He became a social activist kind of person, got into politics, now everything. And now he said, मेरे को कुछ और करना है. I can do only consulting. And then we sat and wrote down about 23 different professions in
Mm-hmm.
1 hour. These are possible 23 professions you can choose. I said, okay, now I have a choice. But how do I choose? How do I make the choice? So, what is the process of making a choice? Because you know this, Dr. Mishra, is we are told decide, make a choice, make a no 11th standard, make a choice. To which college to go, decide. Whom to get married, decide. But nobody teaches how to decide. What is the
Mm.
process? What are the mistakes? And if people are doing pros and cons approach, which is a outdated approach for so many centuries, it's outdated. So there are multiple other ways to take decisions. So I cover that so
Okay.
that they can use it whenever they are stuck anywhere in their later part of their life as well. And number three is once they have decided, okay, they have a life purpose, they know how to choose, they have probably chosen, then the roadmap to achieve it. Now the part comes, right? And I did this course called Designing Your Life, and they talk about something called ODC plans, like a
Mm-hmm.
5 years plan. How will you try to execute? And not one plan, but three plans. In ODC plans, make three plans, three professions. We trying out multiple things and then see which one is clicking and then make the shift, right? So all that part planning happens there. And the fourth question is what are the hurdles I'll face? Now, if I've made the plan is easy. Plan you can make in 2 days, but the problem is the barriers in implementing the plan. So, what are those barriers? What will stop me? What are those skills that you're talking about that I need to build?
Mm.
Like, for example, when I became a coach, I realized I do not know storytelling. So, I got
Mm.
a coach who helped me learn about storytelling, right? Then I didn't know how to do personal branding. Then somebody I worked with, and she told me how to make a personal brand. So all these things come up, right?
Mm.
So that these are the four questions typically which I kind of work on in the 4 months. So that when they leave, they have a bit of clarity. Okay, these are 3, 4 paths to work on. These are skills. Some they would have built with me. Some they can build over time. I'm there to even handhold them for 9, 12 months. Later on, if they want to extend it further, but at least direction is clear, and probably
Mm.
2 or 3 professions are clear. This is the way to move forward. right?
And why the duration is defined as 4 months? What is there any rational logic in
No,
that?
I tried 3 months, 2 months, 6 months, and then
Okay,
I just my own experience.
okay.
As there's
I
no,
mean, just a template which you find comfortable.
yeah, yeah. So it's like 9 sessions. I just plan it out that way. So yeah,
Okay,
there's no formula for this as such. Okay.
fantastic. So, Amit, would you like to talk about your book? Though I had not planned to ask about it, but would you like to talk about your book?
Yeah, so the book is called The Clarity First, which I released in 2019 September. And the intent of that book was that, how do I say, it's not on career transition per se, but it's my journey. Some aspect gets covered there. Is I see so many people, Dr. Mishra, who have everything with them.
Hmm,
They have the knowledge, they have the experience, they have the money, they have the network, they have the connections, but still they don't do anything,
hmm,
right? And they're not able to achieve what they want, right? Because they lack his clarity. They lack clarity of how to leverage what you already have.
hmm,
There are many things that we already have with us, and we kind of ignore that. I mean, looking for something totally different and altogether. So this book has been written for that perspective, that those people who have whom I think have almost everything with them, but still not able to achieve. But and they lack clarity and how they can get clarity on their own. Now,
hmm.
without anybody's help, how can they get the clarity on their own? And there is a ways to do it. I have explained my model around it. Um, I got a lot of mentors to help me out. That's what I was telling earlier, that ask for help was
Hmm.
the most important strategy that I used. I've kind of explained that how my mentors have helped me become a coach and even helping me right now to become better, right? So this book is about that. It also talks about a bit about what is coaching really about, and what is mentoring, what is consulting. So have a distinction between them.
Okay,
So these are the few things: how to get clarity on your own, and if you want to really make a big impact and achieve something big, and a bit of my life story as well as about coaching.
okay. So if
It's
somebody
available on
wants to
Amazon.
reach out to you, how they will reach out to you, uh, and how they can, what they can expect out of your coaching.
Yeah, so the way to reach out to me is go to my website, amitchawla.coach. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Amit Chawla Business Clarity Coach. You'll get that. And the way I work is because each person is different.
Yes.
So I just have a discovery call for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. It's a complimentary one, just to understand each other and mainly to look at what is your big goal. In that
Mm,
discovery session, you can expect this, having getting clarity of your big goal, and why you want to achieve that big goal in your career or in your business. And then the second thing is, okay, if this is the goal, then what's stopping you, right? What is stopping you to achieve those goals? And based on those aspects, then there's a bit of clarity which comes, that am I the right fit for you? Are you the
mm,
right fit for me? It's more of fitment, right? It's not. So I'd like to work with those whom I enjoy working, right? I need to
mm,
also enjoy, and you also need to enjoy. If you're not enjoying the whole thing of the experience, then it's no fun, right? So it's more of figuring out what works with each other, and that's what happens in the session. And then we figure out whether it's a 4 months model, 6 month model, 12 months model. That's separate. But first
mm.
is alignment. Am I aligned
Okay.
with you?
I know. I mean, in India, we are all, it's a culture of where from early days people go to tuition to learn about subject, and there is a particular outcome which is expected out of a tuition. So I know a lot of Indians have this mindset कि हाँ ये काम करेंगे तो इसका output ये आ जाएगा. Whereas
Hmm.
coaching is a very subjective matter. I mean, it would be very difficult to um very clearly define what would be the outcome or define the
Okay,
outcome
there
in a
is a
particular time frame, isn't it? So how do you address that? I can imagine how difficult that is to figure
So,
out
so
and
there are yeah, so there are there are many of the sessions programs where it's outcome based. The 4 months is basically outcome based. That you can achieve these four things. Like I mentioned, these four questions will get addressed. That
okay.
would happen, right? Another one, for example, I coach somebody who was they were like two co-founders and
Hmm.
having a problem with each other. So one of them came, said, "Sir, समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या करना है? So need to figure this out." So we decided the outcome of the 4 months would be amicably exit from the partnership,
Hmm.
amicably exit from the partnership, and number two, start a new business, and number three, lay out the plan for the next 2 3 years in for the with the new company, right? So these were the three objectives, outcome that we defined, and we did that, right? So we could say, okay, tick, 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 no, because for 1.5, 2 months was amicably exit, because how do I exit, right? So there has been a lot of conversation on that, but amicably, right?
Hmm.
And then lay out the plans, all that happened. And then when he started a new company, he called me, said, Amit, come, let's have cake and
Okay.
celebrate.
So your
So
discovery call
these are
helps you to figure out what can be the possible outcome, and
exactly.
then you decide.
Correct, correct. Yeah, exactly. So, but there'll be some program where I do like a 12 months or even longer. That's not, it's a flexi based. Okay, I
Hmm.
can define an outcome, but the clients or the coaches requirement may change.
Hmm.
Because after 4 months, they will think, oh, no, I don't want this, I want something else. Then I can't be keep on running on that old goal. So there is a flexi model there from long-term
Okay.
perspective. Then it's more of retainership, right? So because I know that the goals will change, and we can set up goals for 4 months, 4 months, 4 months, and focus on that. So it all depends what the coachee wants, and accordingly it can be adjusted.
Okay. So interesting. I think a lot of interesting things from this conversation. So before we wind up, any concluding remarks or anything which you would like to share further before we call it a day?
Yeah. So the only closing remark would be: do not die with regret in heart.
Hmm.
No, do not die with regret in heart. I could have done something. I could have achieved something. That regret in the end of your life is the biggest pain, right? Because at that time you can't do anything. So I always mention this as far as career transition is concerned. Claim your unlived life. No, it's an unlived life you are thinking of. Claim it, right? You have that, maybe not 100% thing, maybe 50% things with you. No, you can claim. I've seen people do that. And many people not do it. I have more failure stories than success stories. People are not stepping up and doing it. But it pains because there could be so much of unknowingly you may be making a big avoiding a social impact, right? So, for example, I forgot to give example. Pre-COVID, there's a doctor who called me and said, I want to start a new hospital in Ghaziabad somewhere. And I said, okay, good idea. Let's start. He said, but no, I'm working in a hospital. It's doing well. His wife is doctor, a good house, but he wants to do that. I said, okay, let's start. And we were talking about it, the plan and everything. And then after a few weeks, we called and said, I am not starting coaching with you because my wife is saying, let's not do it. She's
Oh.
saying, "यार, आपसे तो क्यों करना है?" And it's a failure story for according to me because I could have helped. The reason I'm saying that is after a year, COVID happened. Many people died.
Hmm.
If he had opened a hospital in his radius of no, maybe 5 10 kilometers, he could have saved some lives,
I know.
right? So knowingly, unknowingly, it is possible. There could be a social, problem which you may have created, right? I call this as a loss to society. Could be a loss to society which can happen. So the part is claim your unlived life. And to claim your unlived life, it is not about you have to do a little bit of planning, but a lot of action.
Hmm.
Little bit of skill development, possibly, but more action. action is the key, right? And also the other part is it's not about, again, the planning part and all that is not so that important. Important part is the courage,
Very important.
right? People do not step up to do career transition not because they don't have a plan or things, or they don't have a vision or something. It is they do not have the courage.
They
Okay,
wait for the perfect
courage.
day, which never comes.
Yeah, they're looking for perfection. Perfection will never happen. There's no perfection. Perfection is a hindrance to success. Perfection is a hindrance to progress,
Mm,
right? If you're looking for perfection, you will not make progress.
correct.
So the my last point is have that courage to take those actions so that the big impact can happen. And there are ways to mitigate risk and other things. Uh, but action is more important. Courage and action are the two things I'll leave this session with. Have the courage to take small actions to make the career transition and claim your unlived life.
Fantastic. I
Thank you.
recently came across a title of the book called Die Empty. I don't know whether you have read this book.
Uh,
Recently, I got to know about this. It's a recently published book. I have ordered for it. I've not read it myself, but the concept is same. Basically, it means that if you have something in you, before you die, you should actually empty that to the world. Don't keep it and die.
hmm,
So I love
hmm.
that the concept of the book is so fantastic, and what you're saying is actually
Yeah, there's another
uh,
book I read. There's another book I read. It is called Why Are You on This Earth? Why the hell are you on this earth?
okay, okay, fantastic.
So, interesting take.
Okay, good. So, Amit, it was fascinating to talk to you on a subject which actually will be widely used and required for a lot of people, young people, going forward, and 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 otherwise also young at heart, as you rightly mentioned. And I'm sure this conversation will reach out to some of them, and probably they will reach out to you. I will share your contact details, your uh, website and LinkedIn, all those profile details on the show notes. And hopefully, some of them will reach out to you. So, thank you for your time, for sharing all your knowledge and wisdom about this subject. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. We sincerely wish you could take something from our conversation today and be able to apply it to your life in a positive way. We value your feedback. This can help us improve our future episodes. So share your thoughts to serve you better. If you want us to focus on a topic which you think is of importance, let us know. We will share our expertise in future episodes. So, see you soon with a new topic and help you in your career journey.